There is no doubt that spaceships are the heart and soul of any great space sim. Whether you're blazing through the stars in Star Citizen or charting the galaxy in Elite Dangerous, your ship is more than just a vehicle. It's your home, your weapon, and your greatest companion. But here's the question: how do Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous handle their ships? How are they made? How are they sold? And how are they marketed? Today, we are going to talk about the world of ship industries of both games and see what sets them apart. So strap in, commanders and citizens, because we've got a lot to talk about. And so, we are going to start with how ships are actually created in those games. And in Star Citizen, ship development is a meticulous process. I'm not saying it's not in Elite Dangerous, but concept ships are often announced long before they make it into the game, sometimes even before they even started. Sometimes, as I said, years in advance. Cloud Imperium Games shares development updates through Inside Star Citizen Live, and official progress trackers, as well as various other media. Ships go through white box, gray box processes, and then flight-ready phases with dedicated teams working on flight models, interiors, and weapons balancing. When a new ship drops, it's an event. Players line up to test them. YouTube is flooded with first impressions. I do that too, and suddenly everyone is debating if it's the new meta. Meanwhile, Elite Dangerous takes a different approach. Frontier Development doesn't sell concept ships. They don't announce ships years in advance, unfortunately. Instead, new ships arrive as part of game expansions or major updates with little hype until they're about to be released. The process is less transparent, but the results are nevertheless solid. Elite ships are highly polished when they come out, with distinct roles and balanced performances. They aren't designed to sell first and be built later, or rebalanced later, or nerfed later. They are built first, tested internally, and then launched when ready. Next, we'll talk about the design philosophy of both games, which is deeply rooted in the legacy of their creators. Chris Roberts, the visionary behind Star Citizen, draws heavy inspiration from his Wing Commander series. Many Star Citizen ships borrow elements from those classic games, including design cues, cockpit layouts, and even HUD elements. The goal is, of course, to create a cinematic, immersive experience where every ship feels like it belongs in an epic space opera. On the other hand, Elite Dangerous was built on the foundations laid by David Braben's original Elite games, which date back to the 1980s and early 1990s. Many of Elite's ships are direct follow-ups designs from those early titles, which explains their boxy, wedge-shaped aesthetics. This design consistency has helped maintain the game's identity, but it also has limited creative freedom until recently. In 2024, Frontier began breaking free from this rigid design philosophy with the introduction of next-generation ships. The Type 8, the Mandalay, and sleek reinterpretations like the Python Mach 2 and the Cobra Mark 5 show a clear departure from the old aesthetic. Even the newly announced Corsair, visible in recent footage, demonstrates that Frontier is willing to push boundaries. It will therefore be fascinating to see how this new wave of ship design evolves. CIG too have been shifting its design philosophy though. Star Citizen Live recently featured an episode discussing upcoming ships, highlighting how manufacturers are evolving. RSI ships, for example, today look drastically different from their 2013 counterparts, and the upcoming expansion of the Kruger lineup will introduce ships inspired by 1950s sci-fi aesthetics. These shifts prove that even in a game still in development, ship design is an ever-evolving art form. Now, here's where things get really interesting. In Star Citizen, ships are both sold in-game and through real money purchases. Players can buy ships with in-game credits, but most new ships debut with limited time sales that require real-world money. Some of these sales are controversial, ship being sold before they exist in-game. This has been quite a large debate over the past couple of years. Sometimes the ships get quite overpriced and their prices increase year after year, so players also don't like that so much. But on the flip side, these sales fund the game's ongoing development. Without them, Star Citizen wouldn't have the resources to push the boundaries of its tech. Originally, Elite Dangerous did not sell ships for real money. The game was meant to be funded through expansions, with multiple paid updates added new content. However, continuous development proved difficult and only 2 major expansions were released: Horizons, which introduced airless planetary landings, and Odyssey, which brought space legs and thin atmosphere worlds. 2 expansions were not enough to sustain the game, leading Frontier to rely heavily on cosmetics. Ship paints, ship kits, and accessories could be bought using a premium currency called ARX, which players could either purchase with real money or slowly earn in-game. However, in 2024, everything changed. With the introduction of next-generation ships, Elite Dangerous now sells ships for ARX or real money, just like Star Citizen. This marks a major shift in the game's monetization strategy, aligning it more closely with CIG's approach, minus the hefty prices. It's actually true that Elite Dangerous ships are much cheaper, but also feature less level of details, notably they don't have an explorable interior. While some players appreciate the ability to buy a new ship instantly, others see this as a departure from the game's original design philosophy. Finally, let's talk about marketing. This is where the 2 games truly diverge here. Star Citizen is, we can say it here, a marketing powerhouse. Ships reveals come with cinematic trailers, in-depth lore, and often full-blown in-game events. The hype is real. When a new ship is announced, it can generate millions in fundings within days. Events like the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo or IAE and Invictus Launch Week turn ship sales into a spectacle, with players getting hands-on demos and massive exhibitions where they can rent for free all of the game's ships. It's all part of the experience, and there is no denying that whether you like it or not, Clan Imperial games are pretty good at selling spaceships. Meanwhile, Elite Dangerous takes a much more quieter approach. Ships are introduced with patch notes and occasional trailers, but there's no massive marketing push. You're not going to see countdowns, flashy live streams, or limited time fear of missing out sales. This approach is less aggressive, but also means less engagements. New ships just kind of appear, right? It's great for players who want a more relaxed experience, but it does mean that Elite's ships roster grows much more slowly compared to Star Citizen's constant expansion. So, when it comes to ships, both Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous have completely different philosophies. Star Citizen sells the dream, hyping up new ships and making their release an event, while Elite Dangerous originally focused on expansions and cosmetics until 2024, when it introduced direct ship sales for real money. One game is all about the spectacle, the other game was once about fairness, but now has shifted toward a hybrid monetization model. Which approach is better? Well, that depends on what you're looking for in a space game. Do you like the excitement of new concept ships and massive ship expos, or do you prefer a system in which ships are sold once they are released? Let me know in the comment section down below, but I'm sure that it's going to be a discussion worth having. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe for more Space Sim content. Don't forget also to like the video if you did. I have been Iran. I want to give a big shout out to my Patreon and YouTube members, including Dr. Fabin, Shadow Rise, the Cartocart, Tarcisius, and Zero Crusher. I will see you guys in the next one.